Welcome to UNSTR8T, the podcast where we explore LGBTQ+ stories, share insights, and dive deep into what it means to truly love and accept ourselves. I'm Mitch, Dyer, a mindset and life transformation strategist and proud gay man and ally, here to guide you on a journey of healing, thriving, and embracing who you are. Whether you're navigating your identity, seeking peace and happiness, simply wanting to feel more empowered, or just want to learn more about our community, this podcast is for you. Together, we'll discuss topics that matter most: mental health, self-love, relationships, and community. Let's create a life where you feel whole, seen, and celebrated every single day. Welcome to your safe space. Let's get growing. Hey everyone! Welcome to the very first episode of UNSTR8T with Mitch Dyer. That's me, Mitch. I am your host, and I'm an LGBTQ+ life coach and ally, and I am so super excited to go on this journey with you. So here's what's going to happen in today's episode. I'm just going to share a little bit about my personal story, how I grew up very religious, came out as a gay man in my late 40s, lost just about everything and everyone, and then eventually became an LGBTQ+ life transformation strategist and ally. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. But so I'm just going to share a little about that and also what you can expect from this podcast moving forward. I'm also going to explore some of the challenges that our community faces, and more importantly, how we can overcome those things together. So in future episodes, I'll share all the gory details of my own personal journey and all the messiness that was. But today I just really wanted to start by sharing a bit about why I felt called to help people, specifically in my community, the LGBTQ+ or queer community, focused on supporting people while they figure things out, while they heal, they find peace and happiness for their own lives. Growing up, I was always aware of the challenges of people around me face because of their identity or sexual orientation. I mean, I was one of those people. I struggled with, and I saw my friends struggle with acceptance, mental health, finding safe spaces where they could be themselves. And it wasn't just about acceptance from society, but very often, if not most of the time, acceptance of themselves too. As I got older, I realized that my passion was helping other people, supporting those who needed somebody to stand by their side, whether they were coming out, navigating relationships, or simply trying to figure out who they are. I wanted to be who I needed when I was facing all of my own personal struggles. I wanted to be that person who said, it's okay to be you, and there's a place for you in this world. And most importantly, you are loved and entirely worthy of being loved. And that led me to life coaching, where I focus on empowerment, growth, and authenticity. So, what is an LGBTQ life coach exactly? Well, first, I don't really even like to call it life coaching, because for me, it's a lot more than that. It's part coach, part friend, part mentor, part consultant, and definitely someone's biggest cheerleader. It's about helping people embrace their true selves, breaking through limiting beliefs, sometimes starting with their own, and living a life that's aligned with their authentic identity. Whether someone's figuring out the sexuality part of themselves, or facing relationship challenges, or navigating societal, religious, or family expectations, my job is to guide them through that journey. And it almost always starts with loving themselves. Rue's quote really is so true. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? It's really, really true. So you might be wondering, why is LGBTQ+ life coaching even necessary? Well, as you probably know, the queer community faces unique struggles. It could be coming out to family, dealing with discrimination at work, or healing internalized shame, or even religious trauma, just to barely scratch the surface and name a few. These issues can weigh heavily on mental health and self-esteem. So my role is to create a safe and non-judgmental space for my clients to explore who they are, what they want for their lives in the future, and then take positive steps towards that future in their lives. So one of the most common challenges I see in the queer community is identity struggles. And this can range from not feeling enough for the community to not fitting into traditional gender roles or expectations. And as a mindset mentor, I help individuals reclaim their personal narrative and see that their uniqueness is actually their strength. Another struggle I see is the feeling of isolation, especially for those who don't live in an LGBTQ plus inclusive area. Many people feel like they're alone, but in reality, we are a global family. I mean, I live in Brazil right now. I'd love to hear from some of you, like where you're listening from. But the point is, we are worldwide. You are not alone. One of the things I always emphasize is the importance of building and finding community, whether that's online or in person. I just suggested recently to a client of mine is get the Meetup app and find some people like yourselves around you. Make some friends. Surround yourself with people who celebrate who you are. Another struggle we face is internalized shame and fear. Many in the community also grapple with internalized homophobia or fear of rejection, and this prevents someone from fully stepping into their authentic self. So I help people dismantle those fears by encouraging them to take small but meaningful steps towards self-acceptance and ultimately, and most importantly, self-love. Facing external judgment or discrimination is also a harsh reality for many of us. Many don't have family who accept them, or even religious communities who've told them that this part of who they are is not compatible with their faith or their belief system. My approach here is twofold. It's building resilience within and fostering healthy boundaries. It's about recognizing that while we can't always control others' reactions and opinions, we can control how we react and protect our own energy and allow ourselves to heal from any of those unhealthy or damaging beliefs that sometimes go really, really deep within our souls. So, moving forward, this podcast is going to feature incredible guests from the LGBTQ plus community and allies who've lived through their own challenges and triumphs. We'll hear from queer activists and allies, mental health professionals, and everyday people with some incredibly inspiring stories. I can't wait for you guys to hear some of these people. Some of the topics that we'll explore include mental health, relationships, the coming out process, career challenges, and of course, self-love and acceptance. Every episode will be designed to offer both insight and actionable steps. So whether you're an LGBTQ plus person or an ally, there will always be something for you here on Unstraight. I also want to make this podcast interactive. If you have questions or topics that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to reach out to me on social media or email me. Let's build a community together where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. I'll make sure that all my social media and contact info are in the episode notes below. Finally, to wrap up this short intro for today, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited about this first episode of Unstraight. And yeah, why or how did I come up with the name for this podcast? Well, because it's my story. I was straight, and yes, I'm using air quotes right now. I was straight for most of my life. I lived as a straight man. I was married, and I will talk about that eventually, but I lived a completely different life, and I want to share some of that with you, but it was my process. So this is what I named the podcast. I became Unstraight. Remember, living authentically isn't always easy. It definitely hasn't been for me, but it's always worth it. So my goal with my story and insight from my experiences, and of course from my guests, is to help guide you on your own journey of self-discovery and empowerment. And hopefully it'll be interesting and informative enough for anyone to listen to and learn and grow from. So if you enjoyed this episode, just this little intro, and you're looking forward to what's to come in future episodes, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. And if you're ready to start your own journey to authenticity, peace, happiness in your life, please feel free to reach out to me for a free 15-minute connection. I'd love to meet you, chat, whatever. You can find all those details in the show notes. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, you are worthy of love exactly as you are. Talk to you soon, and big, big love, everyone.